Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. I'm excited because we are going to rank some quarterbacks today. I like doing some interactive things here. So if you were here tapping in on a Friday afternoon into the chat, please come join me. Hit that like button. And we are trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by August 30th, which happens to be Texas versus Ohio State. We are under 100 days until kickoff. So if you guys could help us out, it's free to show love. I appreciate it. But I'm gonna, just kind of go through. I got a small little thing on the schedule just to keep me honest on all the different quarterbacks we'll be facing. Uh, that includes the G5 teams, but everybody we're going to be seeing, we're going to rank until we get to who we believe is the best quarterback Texas will see in 2020. So, like I said, tap in. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I really really appreciate it. And let me get started here as we are going through. D Money can't get money. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Make some. Okay, we're looking good so far. I need to get back to. Okay, sorry about that. I needed to get something off my screen. Um, all right, let's get started. So somebody said I got Pavia at 4. Alan McGada, what's up, Mister 512? What's up? What's up? All right, so the way I look at this is who are some of the proven guys we know. You know, for example, Diego Pavia, right? Marcel Reed, guys we've seen, guys we know can, that can play. We did not see DJ Lagway last year, but DJ Lagway, obviously. We did see Taylon Green of Arkansas, whether or not he was fully healthy, but he is going into year 2 at Arkansas. Where do you have Taylon Green falling in there? He had some really big moments last year in college football. Then he kind of fell off in other games. Then you got newcomers into the SEC like John Mateer at OU, who is very, very heavily regarded coming out of Washington State, former backup to Cam Ward. When he took over at Wazoo, he tore it up and went for over 40 something touchdowns. So where do you place a John Mateer? Could John Mateer be the best quarterback that we will see in 2025? We know we start the season with, they haven't announced it yet. These, by the way, these are assumptions as to who the starter is. Things will change. Things will change, obviously, if said person does not win the job, because some of these teams are amidst a QB battle. Technically, Ohio State is between Julian Sand and Lincoln Kleinholz. I think we all expect Julian Sand to win the job and be the starter come Texas versus Ohio State. So for this exercise, I am ranking Julian Sand. Who else do we got here? Gunnar Stockton. We saw Gunnar Stockton in the SEC championship game come in relief of Carson Beck, right? And then he ended up playing in the Notre Dame playoff game. So we've seen Carson Beck. Vandalise, I'm just going to read this super chat because I appreciate you. Donations. Appreciate you blessing us on a Friday afternoon. Blessings, blessings, blessings. So again, these are just the 12 opponents that we're facing. Okay. So I'm going to do this exercise kind of with you guys. I think I'm going to start kind of towards the bottom and work my way up. And you guys, as I'm filling this out, tell me if I'm off base. Tell me if I'm wrong. Let's talk ball. Let's talk ball. Okay. Now 10 through 12, one could say, hey, let's slot San Jose, UTEP, Sam Houston in some sort of order. However, there is some interesting guys over at each of these schools. So Sam Houston, for example, their guy coming back, I think his name was Hunter Watson. Played a lot of football, very mobile. Won Conference USA Player of the Week a couple times. Like, not a scrub at all. So I don't think I'm going to put Hunter Watson in 12. I think where I'm going to go 12 is actually UTEP because they currently have a quarterback battle between Skylar Locklear, who played a little bit last year, and another big name that's ended up at UTEP that I'm not sure everybody knows about, named Malachi Nelson. Malachi Nelson is currently at UTEP in I think they have a three-way QB battle going on there. But it is right now, it sounds as though game one for UTEP, Skylar Locklear would play. And if you don't know who Skylar Locklear is, that's okay. These are his stats. If hold on, my screen just went boo boo. Let me bring up his stats over here because just get an idea of who the hell we're talking about, right? So the QBR is absolutely atrocious, right? Now he's a sophomore, young guy, small guy, hasn't played a whole lot of ball, transferred into UTEP, looks pretty mobile. I have not seen him play, but we know what type of prospect Malachi Nelson was regarded. Remember, he was in the same class as Arch Manning, as Marcel Reed, as Nico, as Dante Moore, as all those guys. So what has happened to Malachi Nelson between USC to Boise State? Now he's at UTEP. Talk to me, chat. What has happened with Malachi Nelson? For that reason, these brothers are going to be at the bottom of the list. No disrespect. No disrespect, but we're going to have to we'll just do Skylar Locklear / Malachi Nelson because we don't know who's going to play. And you know how we always get into a situation where we see a whole different quarterback than everybody else sees half the damn time, too. Let's not forget that. So I'm putting them in the 12th spot. In the 11th spot, I probably will put, this is between Hunter Watson and Walker Eggett. Walker Eggett, the quarterback for San Jose State, who we will be playing week 2, cost me a lot of money last year. So I'm actually, that guy, I had bet on Stanford to beat them in the last game against San Jose State, and they ended up beating Stanford, and he threw for almost 400 yards in that game. And he threw for, I think, over 400 yards in the Boise State game. So I think I'm going to have Walker Eggett over Hunter Watson, even though Hunter Watson has had some really good moments in the Conference USA. I'm not super familiar with him, but we're going to go ahead for the sake of the exercise and put him there. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody. And by the way, Hunter Watson is a senior. Just FYI, he is a senior. So we will put Hunter Watson for now at 11. That's Sam Houston. And then we will put Walker Eggett who's thrown for some big ass numbers. And remember, they had Nick Nash, who was the leading receiver in country last year, who he was throwing to. Now, that guy has since moved on to the NFL, but that was one of his go-to targets, right? So we have 9 games left. We have 8 SEC games, and we have the Ohio State game. Now, out of that, we're looking at Julian Sayin, DJ Lagway, John Mateer, Zach Calzada at Kentucky. Even though we faced Cutter Boley last year, Cutter Boley will look pretty good against us. But Zach Calzada will be. They paid a lot of money to get him. He balled out at Incarnate Word to get back on the map. Mississippi State, I expect Blake Shapen to be their guy. Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia. Georgia, Gunnar Stockton. Arkansas, Taylor Green. And Texas A&M, Marcel Reed. So out of that group, I think, and this is interesting, right? Because these are all names that we're familiar with, right? Whether it's through recruiting or if we've seen them at other schools. For me, right now, somebody talk me off the ledge, talk me out of it. I just need to confirm one thing because I want to make sure I'm not tripping. I want to make sure I'm not tripping. I think I'm going to put Blake Shapen at 9, Mississippi State. I'm going Blake Shapen. To me, we played. He's old as shit. We played Blake Shapen a long time ago when he was at Baylor. This is, to me, this is like fear factor. Also, what's around him and just familiarity with the attack. I'm sorry, but I got to put Blake Shapen there at the 9 hole. There's just too many other guys. There's nobody else I can justify to put him over, if that makes sense. Dimple Wonder, donations. 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 Bevo's bodyguard said Zach Calzada is up next. Chat. Zach Calzada had 35 touchdowns and less than 10 picks at Incarnate Word, and he has SEC experience. You know, he was one of the Jimbo quarterbacks, and some of these Jimbo quarterbacks have been having a resurrection now. We know about Haynes King. But I think I might go Zach Calzada at 8, solely because the Kentucky offense is a question mark overall. I think these other guys, like Pavia is going to have Eli Stowers to throw to. Julian Sayin's going to look good with the Ohio State guys. Now, how early that is, we'll see. I do like Zach Calzada. I do like him. But the question is, where does he fall amongst the other guys? And right now I'm gonna go Zach Calzada at 8. But I would not be surprised if he moves up on this list. Zach Calzada, Kentucky, will be at 8. Unless somebody talks me out of it. Again, appreciate the super chats. Thank you. I like Marcel Reed as well. I think he's going to make a leap this year, even though I'm not a big fan of Colin Klein. I'm just not a Colin Klein guy. I do expect Marcel Reed to make a leap. I do not have Marcel Reed next. I actually have Gunnar Stockton. I think this is where I'm going to put Gunnar Stockton. I thought Gunnar Stockton. I don't think Georgia lost to Notre Dame because of Gunnar Stockton. He wasn't bad. Now, he didn't win the game, but he was not bad in that playoff game. He was not bad. And obviously, his mobility did give us issues in the SEC championship game. And the kid came in and showed a crazy amount of toughness. For me, Gunnar Stockton reminds me a lot of Stetson Bennett. And obviously, Stetson Bennett's a two-time national championship winner. But I'm also thinking about the talent level, things of that sort. John, I appreciate your normal engagement here. You are going above and beyond today. Above and beyond. Exactly. Stockton's mobility was an issue because we were not prepared for it. We were prepared, obviously, for Carson Beck. But I have my questions about Gunnar Stockton still, especially considering some of the revamped personnel around him, and the expectations that are going to be there. I do think he will eventually be a very good quarterback, but there could be some growing pains there. And some of the other guys I'm putting, the only truly inexperienced guy I'm putting over Gunnar Stockton is Julian Sand. Marcel Reed has played a lot of football at this point, a lot more football than Gunnar Stockton has, and has played big and won a bowl game. So I'm gonna go Gunnar Stockton at 7. Just my personal opinion. This does not mean that I think Georgia's going to be asked this year. This does not mean that we're going to be. I'm saying we're going to beat Georgia in Athens in November. It's just right now. The other guys, Taylor Green, Marcel Reed, Pavia, have shown me more in the SEC than we've seen from Gunnar Stockton. But with a great performance, he can move him up. Now I know I'm all over the place with it because I'm also making a projection for Julian Sand. To be fair, who do we have, chat? Because are we putting Marcel Reed over Julian Sand? Are we putting Taylor Green over Julian Sand? Remember, Julian Sand, he was what, class 2024? He was either number 1 or number 2 guy in the entire class, depending on which publication you look at. He's been, compared to Bryce Young, compared to Drew Brees, one of the smaller type quarterbacks, but very accurate. Somebody that has, very good mobility. And Ohio State folks have been saying Sand isn't starting. I'm assuming him over Kleinholz, but if it's Lincoln Kleinholz, then this is where the ship ends. If it's Lincoln Kleinholz, I might have to move that to 9. Sand definitely has to prove it. We're going to go Julian Sand here, especially if there's questions. That's the thing. If it is Julian Sand, he has outstanding weapons around him. Yeah, I agree. If he doesn't win, let's put it this way. Let's start here. If Julian Sand does not win the starting job over Lincoln Kleinholz, that's a whole different issue. That's a whole different issue. Okay. We saw Lincoln. Now, granted, it was very, very it was an unfortunate situation, but we did see Lincoln Kleinholz in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri a couple years ago. For those who remember, I know the boy was young and he wasn't ready, but he was awful. If Julian Sand, exactly, that starts to smell like the Alex Orgy situation. So now for us, the benefit for us is we are playing him game 1. I believe we will have the best pass rush that they probably see all season. And on top of that, the inexperience of Brian Hartline. Now, My spider senses tell me that Ryan Day will be in that headset, but they claim that Hartline is going to be the one calling the plays. So we shall see, because shit can get real quick against PK. Okay, especially with a young quarterback in there that hasn't seen some of those things before. All right, let me. It can get real quick. Either OSU gets. I don't think he has a monster arm. No, Alan. Why do you have Gunnar Stockton at 2? Just out of curiosity. Just out of curiosity. Oh, I spelled Julian's name wrong. Gonna be like Herman with usage. All right, let's get to the top 5. Top 5 quarterbacks will be facing. We have, who do we have left on the board? We have Marcel Reed, Taylon Green, John Mateer, Diego Pavia. Is that it? And DJ Lagway. Excuse me, DJ Lagway. Mm. And I'm also thinking, I think the number one, if we think about criteria, it does factor in my mind of who do I think will be most challenging for us to play. I think that's my kind of my tiebreaker here. So weapons could factor in a little bit, or situation or offense. What makes the quarterback look good, right? It's still a team sport. Quentin, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? How you doing? So I think right now I'm between for 5 and 4 and 5. I'm between Taylor Green and Marcel Reed. I think this is where they come into play for me. The question is, do I have Taylor Green over Marcel Reed, or do I have Marcel Reed over Taylor Green? Donations. Thank you, brother. Donations. I don't have a school to build, but I have a channel. I don't have a school to build, but I have a channel to build. So help us out. We're trying to get to 15K by August 30th. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go in the 5 spot, Taylor Green. I think the brother is talented. We 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 defended him very well last year. Very well. He was injured. He played. He played in the game, but he wasn't healthy when we played. But I'm gonna have to go Taylor Green. I Taylor Green has more upside than Marcel Reed, but to me, Marcel Reed has played better football. I like what I saw from Marcel Reed in the USC game. I thought he overcame adversity in that bowl game. Where'd they play their bowl game, in Vegas? I think I'm higher on Marcel Reed than most people. I have Marcel Reed in 4. I thought, considering the situation he walked into last season with Colin Klein, behind a quarterback that everybody, I mean, you think about the way OU fans were gassing up Jackson Arnold, right? Think about how A&M fans were gassing up old boy that's at Houston now, right? So when I think about it, and when Marcel Reed got in there, now I know they rotated a little bit, right? Um, Connor Weigman had the issue with the injury, but then he came back. I think Connor Weigman, he was the Missouri game was where he balled out, but then I don't know. I think Marcel Reed played pretty good again in big spots. Obviously, he has issues with his deep ball. He's not a mature passer. Very, very good runner. But he gave them exactly, Drew. He gave them a spark. They lost their best offensive player in Le'Veon Moss, which is going to be an issue this year, in my opinion. But he wasn't expected to be the guy. Connor Weigman was supposed to be that dude, and that was a disaster. Same type of failure that OU saw with Jackson Arnold. And Marcel Reed kind of held things together, in my opinion. So I think that's why I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. But from a skill set perspective, Taylor Green is 6'6" and runs a 4.4, damn it, and can throw the ball a mile. Like if that guy, if he wanted to, he could be in the conversation with Lenora Sellers in terms of physicality. But Taylor Green's been up and down his whole career, even going back to Boise State. Let me not miss the super chat here. Thank you, Alessandro Franco. Appreciate the super chat. Steve, what games do you think are worth going to this season from a fan perspective? Are you only talking about home games? Can you clarify? Are you only talking about home games or are you talking about the entire schedule? Because our road slate is just really strong this year. Our road slate is really, really strong this year. Obviously, the best home game is A&M. The last two, really, A&M and Arkansas, because those are going to be really, really intense rivalry games. So if you want to be in an environment of a rivalry game and you're talking about home games, then either Arkansas or A&M for sure. But yeah, Taylor Green's physical profile, he's top 3. But he was so inconsistent last year. Anyway, let's put Marcel Reed at 4 and get into the top 3. Which would be Lagway, Mateer, and Pavia. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Lagway, Mateer, Diego Pavia. For me, I'm putting Diego Pavia at 3. I'm going to tell you why. I know he has more experience than the others. He's a tough son of a bitch. That triple option, all that. Them coming to Austin and us seeing that again, I ain't got no worries. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, respectfully, because I ain't got no worries. I think we can. I mean, we had a really good showing in especially the second half in that game. We were doing some dumb stuff. That was the game where Vernon Broughton got that ridiculous penalty, or on was it Kobe Black's pick 6 that got ripped off the board? That game shouldn't. That game was a 10-point game. That was Daffy Duck nonsense happening at the end of the game. But while they did have success on us early, and we will go back through this when we do our rewatch series together. I just thought we got there over 4 quarters. Yes, John Mateer has not competed in the SEC, but he has competed for a P4, P5 program. And I'm also considering him coming with his coach, Ben Arbuckle. And I mean, this guy was on a similar trajectory production-wise of Cam Ward, who he was backing up at Washington State. And they both put up numbers. Now, OU is investing and praying and hoping and taking collection plates, banking on him giving them what Cam Ward gave to Miami. Period. Especially with the coach. And they feel as though they've added, weapons in the portal. Lagway started 7 games last year, went 6-1. We did not play Lagway. Remember, he held out and I think played the next one against Georgia or whatever, however that went. But DJ, Pro Football Focus wise, big time throws, all the stuff he was doing was crazy for a true freshman, right? I mean, you think about that 2024 class, it was, some, whether you like Julian Sayin or DJ Lagway, right? So now Florida did send some guys to the NFL. They did send some guys to the NFL. I think for me, and I know this is going to be controversial with the chat, but either way, it's going to be controversial. For me personally, I'm putting DJ Lagway at 2 and John Mateer at number 1 out of just the rest of what's here. The hype around John Mateer is crazy. And we will see if he lives up to that expectation of producing in a similar fashion as Cam Ward did the year before at Miami. As your lone Sooner fan, I like this. I like John Mateer. I well before he had anything to do with OU, I was watching Washington State play those random ass schools in the Pac-2. Okay. Go ask Jay. I told him halfway through the season, I said, hey, go get that quarterback from Washington State. That could potentially save your program. I told Jay this. John Mateer, I personally like the guy. I think he can play. I think there will be an adjustment period to the SEC. But he's in year 3 with his same coach, and they've produced. They've produced. Not in the SEC, but they've produced. My thing is this. Brother, Washington State lost to those teams. You can't put all that on the quarterback, but I hear you. Their receiver room is mid. Is OU's receiver room better than Florida's? Bevo's bodyguard. Who do you have? Who has more weapons around them, OU or Florida? Now, we're going to find out with John Mateer real quick, by the way, because they play Michigan game too. They played Michigan game too. You has a converted linebacker. The Michigan game gonna tell us. I agree. That's where I'm at. The Michigan game will tell us. But I think John Mateer is legit. So will you take Mateer over a healthy Lagway? No. But Lagway's not healthy. We know this. And the thing is that 3 OCs for OU doesn't necessarily impact the quarterback. Doesn't impact the quarterback. I could be wrong. Look, this is just, yeah. You guys talk me out of it. What do y'all have? Is the consensus that DJ Lagway is number 1 in the chat, or am I tripping with John Mateer at number 1? But he's not in his 3rd year. He's in his 3rd year with the same OC. not the team. The other thing is this too. Stephen Houston brings up a very good point with Mateer. He runs a lot. He runs a lot. Will he be able to hold up physically in this conference? That is another question. All right, y'all saying I'm tripping. This is a community thing. I will flip them then. We're gonna this is a community ranking. Okay. I will flip these brothers. I have no problem doing that. You guys want Lagway at number 1? You got him. But this better not be again, I need football reasons, Texas fans. Football reasons. Not because you don't like him because he went to OU. I feel better. All right, the chat decided. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. I told you this is an interactive thing. Are there any other ones? I feel like I feel like because Bevo's bodyguard. I said, hey, let's talk about the skill positions. Let's talk about what's around them with the lines. You guys convinced me. This is interactive. Stephen Houston, yes, you did. That's why I highlighted your comment. I am giving football reasons. No cap. We might have to do a live rewatch of that Washington State Wyoming game. Was he that ass in that game? Who was worse, him or Quinn versus Wyoming? I know we pulled it out, but we obviously had a way better team than he did. Okay, so if we're going to highlight his worst game, don't we also have to acknowledge his best game? Or are we only going to be one-sided about it? Let's pull up John Mateer's stuff. This is fun. We'll pull up John Mateer's. Sounds like a damn Marvel character. I'm gonna pull over the game logs. Let me see if I can move that over a little bit. Ooh, Wyoming was their most recent game? Shit. These are John Mateer's numbers. So let me see if I can make it a little bigger for y'all. All right, we'll start on the passing side. So 115 against Tech. The Wyoming game was 15-14. He did blow up New Mexico. And he blew up they he did blow up New Mexico. So the argument for Lagway for sure is what he did, what he's proven in the SEC, and those 7 games is more proven than Center Cowboys fight back. What's are we tripping? He ran for a buck. He did run for a buck 97 against Tech though. For, I know y'all called out the 115 passing, but look at that 197 on the right. Interesting. All right, let's pull up. We'll pull up Lagway. Lagway's stats are interesting because he only played 7 games. To be fair, but for those who are coming in late or haven't been watching the whole time, we're ranking all the quarterbacks that we are going to face. That is the Texas Longhorns, as in we, for 2025. And the chat has convinced me to remove John Mateer from number 1 and place DJ Lagway at number 1. So we flipped 1 and 2. So now DJ Lagway is number 1 in the opposing QB rankings. I feel good about our 5, the top 5. I think our top 5 is accurate as of what we've seen. Julian Sayin is 6 because he's just unknown, and he better for damn sure beat out Lincoln Kleinholz. Like, come on. Is Lagway expected to be healthy by the time the season starts? Do they? Who does Florida open with this year? Let me pull up their schedule. I don't think they open with Miami. The gate is. Let's pull up Florida's schedule. Ooh, they open with LIU. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't even know who LIU is. Sorry to that man. I don't know that man. Sorry to him. I don't even know. I don't even know who LIU is. Who's LIU, chat? Who's LIU, chat? Who the hell is that? Lamar? Is that the Guangdong Sharks from China? Who the fuck are they playing August 30th? Are they playing the Shanghai Sharks? Who are they playing? I'm not even joking. There's no way that's Long Island. Who in the blue hell is LIU? You see, this is the nonsense I'm talking about, man. We would never schedule somebody like that. Is it Long Island? I swear to God, I didn't know Long Island had a football program. That can't be Long Island. Holy shit, it's Long Island? Since when do they have a football program? Wow, they've had a football program for 97 years. That is news to me. God bless. Wow, I got to put some sorry to that man. I thought it was like a money laundering operation or something. Damn. It is, in fact, Long Island. Yo, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know. Look, I'm very familiar with LIU. I had friends go to play I know their basketball program. I had no idea they were playing football up there. The Dirtbags in baseball. Is that for real? Is that for real, Bevo? Does Last Stand Hats have any LIU merch? We'll tell Mike and the boys to get on it. So the first game, well, they play LIU and then they play USF. So by September, after September 6th, assuming Lagway plays those games, he should have like 10 or 11 touchdowns. I mean, USF is not a pushover. We know that um, they played Alabama pretty tight. LIU Sharks. Hey, every day you know it's always an opportunity for growth. He said that's long. You got the wrong coast. See, I'm not the only one tripping. That feels good. I'm not the only one tripping. He said that's actually Long Beach State. I'm not the only one tripping. Their football program is funded by Cash App and OnlyFans. God. You know what though? After that, they don't have like Florida schedule. To be fair, after those two tune-up games, I mean, the easiest game is probably Mississippi State at home. After that, it gets real. We got to see what Florida State looks like, and if she and Kyler Murray is still their starter in the last game. But Florida State was unmitigated buckets of ass last year. Who knows if Mike Norvell will even be coaching in that game? He probably will because they don't have enough money to buy him out. But this is the schedule starting with LSU at LSU is brutal from that point on. I mean, back to back weeks, they go to at LSU, then at Miami, they get a bye, and then they play us. And then they go to Kyle Field the next week. Got it. Good luck. Isn't that what the guy said to Liam Neeson and Taken before he hung up the phone? Good luck. Oh boy. So you know what? I'm with they can have the LIUs and any other money laundering operation they want to put out there. Any other, what's the spread? LIU versus Bishop Sycamore. What's the spread on that game? LIU -3? LIU versus Bishop Sycamore. I did not know who I was like, LIU. That's crazy. This schedule's crazy. Florida needs to fight back against somebody for when we get the next crop of SEC opponents for 2026, 2027. Bishop Sycamore versus LIU is a push. Yeah, this is a tough schedule. So anyway, those are your 2025 opposing QB rankings. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Speak now. Anybody worried about Blake Shapen? We didn't see him last year. We ended up getting Van Buren. That brother can play. Michael Van Buren, who's at LSU now, waiting his time behind Nuss. That brother can play. That was another guy that played as a true freshman. Stephen Houston said, I'm not worried about any quarterback on this list except for Lagway. Yeah, I want to bring up Lagway's. Let me bring up his PFF grade because the stats don't do it justice, in my opinion. The stats don't do it justice, in my opinion. Let me bring up his. Let me see if I can get Lagway's. Give me a sec. I'm almost there. Almost there now. All right. They weren't as impressive as I thought. It wasn't impressive as I thought. I thought it was better than that. Let me find the game one. Yeah, let me find the game one. There we go. All right. Try to bring this over here. Yeah, Van Buren was really good. Sorry about that, guys. So this is DJ Lagway's PFF grades. That 90. So he had a 90 versus Stanford throwing. Then he had an 85 in the Kentucky game. So, solid for a true freshman. It's not bad. It's not bad for a true freshman, especially considering the people they were playing. And he was hurt. Essentially, I mean, everything after Georgia, he was hurt. No, Arch is in the game. Arch is in the game. Yeah, so big time throw rate. I'll bring this over. It's pretty good. He had four. He had four of them in the Sanford game. So three, a couple games with three big time throws. He'll improve. He'll improve. And then turnover worthy plays. So that kind of shows you he protected the football pretty good, all things considered. Yeah, he'll improve. Now, if we want to gas somebody's PFF grades up, we can go look at Arches because that was my man was balling. Just I know this is not an Arch Manning conversation, but we're gonna bring up the small sample size anyway. So UTSA. All right, we'll do Mateer's PFF grades after this one. UTSA 91. Monroe, his first start. Remember Monroe game, he struggled. He did struggle in the Monroe game. Had to knock the rust off a little bit. And then if we look at big time throws, that Mississippi State game, SEC opener, he had 3 big time throws. Almost 92 grade passing, 93 overall grade for the Mississippi State game. That's outstanding. That's what Cam Ward graded, I think 92 for the whole season. Right? So that's the level he was playing at versus Mississippi State, just for context. And then if we look at turnover worthy plays, he had 2 on the season, which were both against Monroe. Very, very, very good. Very, very good numbers if people are interested in the Arch one. All right, let's look at Mateer's. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hey, they're not knocking him for the. All right, we're looking at John Mateer. He's graded well. 83 overall for the season. That's a good grade. So we look at that Wyoming game. 77 is not bad. That's why I said, was it him or was it the team? Anything in blue or green, it's when you get in the yellow or red. That's when you were assing it up. All right. So context does matter. I'm not now I don't live and die with PFF. It's a tool. It's a tool, but they do like he was highly graded. We'll see his run grades too, because he runs the ball a hell of a lot, right? So that game against Texas Tech, he got a 90 run grade because he ran for 197 yards. Yeah, I think that we just have to be honest. I'm not, Jackson Arnold's is probably nasty. Whoa, does that say 5 big time throws? What game is that? 5 big time throws? What game is that? New Mexico. I told y'all he was eating against New Mexico. Now we got to see if these numbers are still green and blue in the SEC, then he's cooking. But if you look at Cam Ward's numbers at Washington State with Arbuckle, they were similar to this. Y'all yawning. I hear you. I hear you. What about turnover worthy plays? Does have a lot of turnover worthy plays compared to that's a lot. And I know he runs and throws quite a bit, but even you people here in the chat, you would acknowledge that the turnover worthy plays are pretty high. I know the volume's high between running the ball and throwing, but that's a lot of turnover worthy plays for my blood. I mean, Lagway and Arch were freshmen, and their starts pretty clean. Okay. Let's see. Who else do y'all want to look at? We could do Pavia. We could do Marcel Reed. Anybody on the list that y'all want to take a more in-depth look at from a PFF standpoint before we wrap up? Y'all want to look at Pavia? Pavia's PFF is very, very nice. His stats won't wow you, but his grades are good. So the Texas game, this credit to us guys, the Texas game is his lowest game for Pavia. 60. Again, they run triple option, a weird version of it, but they run that type of concept so I I take the passing stuff, but overall what he's asked to do, he's very, very good. This is really good stuff for, I mean, 93 versus Va Tech, 92 obviously versus Alabama. Throughout the season, even at Tennessee's defense was really good. I appreciate you, D Money Can't Get Money, sending me money. Donations. Yeah, if we're going off of just straight PFF, Pavi will be number one. He's grading very well here. Big time throws, turnover. You see how much lower his turnover worthy plays are, guys, than Mateer? And this is in the SEC. So that's the question. Is he too much of a gambler, John Mateer? Because that turnover worthy play thing was crazy. This guy had 5. Right? He had one against us. But he only made one big time throw. So we kept it clean. Interesting. I still stand by my rankings overall, but it's interesting to look at. Very, very interesting to look at. Got to go watch crunch some film and look at some stuff. Oh, for sure, you're taking the gambler over Jackson Arnold. So, since y'all asked, well, somebody asked, I guess I'll bring up his. Yikes. This is nasty business here. But hey, y'all told me to bring it up, so I brought it up. That's just not going to get it done. Best game against Tulane. That's not going to get it done, brother. That's nasty work. I mean, we got Reds. We got full game. The Missouri game, ugh. Daffy Duck type stuff. I told you guys it's bad. Big time throws. For somebody that was lauded about his arm talent, just not a whole lot of big time throws. He had more turnover worthy plays than big time throws. That's just not going to get it done. Yep, that's why they made the switch. This is nasty business here. Even against Temple, 72, Houston, 70. Like, those are the tune-up games. But Steve, he won Elite 11. Woo! But Steve, he won Elite 11. I know y'all remember that. Arch doesn't go to camps. Arch doesn't go to camp, Steve. All right, we'll look at a couple more guys, and I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out of here. Let's look at Marcel Reed. Do they? Oh, you know what? I need to include regular and post. Okay. Marcel Reed. A lot of meh. A lot of meh. But I'm surprised his running grade is. This is where I have questions about PFF. Why is his run grade so low? The passing grades make sense. I don't understand why his run grades are so low. The USC game, he was all over the place. I get that. Yeah, but he's another one. More turnover worthy plays than big time throws. Interesting. Well, yeah, that's Marcel Reed, folks. Again, just a tool, just something to look at, just something to say. Things that make you go, hmm. But as I conclude here, make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. And help me get to 15K by August 30th. Texas versus Ohio State. But we power ranked our opposing quarterbacks or stat, however you want to say it. We have DJ Lagway, the people's choice, the people's champion. DJ Lagway at number 1, the people's champion. John Mateer entering the SEC as Sooner Cowboy and Stevie G said, the gambler. High risk, but high reward. We're showing a lot of respect. A lot of respect to John Mateer. He'll be in 2, followed by Diego Pavia at 3. Marcel Reed at 4. One could argue that's pretty high, Steve. But I do think that he held it down in some of the bigger games. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt over Taylon Green. Taylon Green, physical marvel, 6'6", runs a 4.4, unbelievable, physical tools. But can he be consistent week to week? That's been a struggle for him. Also, some scuttlebutt out of Arkansas that some of those receivers bounced because of quarterback issues. Again, that's not my word. Those are just things I heard on the street. Julian saying up there with Lagway for QB1 coming out of high school in 2024. We know he is he was going to go to Bama, if not for the coaching transition, ends up at Ohio State. We'll have a plethora of weapons around him, starting with Jeremiah Smith. Julian's saying though, can he avoid being? Is he going to be C.J. Stroud or is he going to be Kyle McCord? Right? What's C.J. Stroud took over, redshirt freshman, ball. Kyle McCord became the scapegoat, and that's why they went and got Will Howard. So is Julian saying more Kyle McCord or is he more C.J. Stroud? We'll see. I have Gunnar Stockton at 7. Lower, but I think he's going to be tough. He's also taking over, and somebody who does, got to acknowledge it. He did lead his team to a football to a win in the SEC championship game by hook or by crook against Texas. He did do that. Now, how you feel about the Notre Dame game, his performance there? I think there's a lot of banter in the Georgia community around Gunnar Stockton and that particular game and what that means for them moving forward. I have Zach Calzada at 8 at Kentucky. I think Zach Calzada is here because of the situation and just how funky things have been at Kentucky. I don't like how they've handled their quarterbacks in recent years, going back to Will Levis. But he lit it up at Incarnate Word. He really, really got back on track and played really good football at Incarnate Word, and was a highly regarded piece coming out of the portal, Zach Calzada. Plus, he has SEC experience. Does have SEC experience. Blake Shapen, we've played him before. Baylor, very familiar. He played in Big 12 championship game. Got hurt last year at Mississippi State. He's in year like 20 in college, but been there, done that. He's one of those guys that struggles to throw to the field, but he's very mobile and, can beat you if you're not on your A game. But I got him lower on this list, just talent and familiarity with the player. Walker Eget, I have him at the top of the G5 teams we're playing. He cost me money last year in the Stanford game. The guy can throw. The guy can stand in the pocket and throw. Now, he's a knee brace guy, big old knee brace guy, but he can stand there and sling the rock. So you just got to make sure you get pressure on him. But he can throw the football. He had a 380-yard game. He had another 450 yards against Boise State. Hunter Watson, exactly what you would think of a Sam Houston QB. Tough runner, and somebody with a lot of experience. And then UTEP, their situation's undecided. Very weird thing going on. Locklear's played before, but Malachi Nelson, former 5-star, to Lincoln Riley at USC. I just don't know what's happened to Malachi. Don't know. But you guys chime in the comments and let me know how you feel about this list. I saw the question about if we'll do it. Yeah, I can do other positions. This was fun. Let me know if you want me to. I Fridays are for y'all. Fridays are for y'all. Because early in the week we have guests, and then Sundays we just, that's Sunday service. We talking Texas ball, but respectfully. Fridays are for y'all. If y'all want me to do this whole thing started because we were talking about quarterbacks on the Tuesday show. So we can whatever you guys want to do. Eventually this is going to grow into a call-in show. So SEC Connect is still a thing. We will get back. We will brothers work schedules and whatnot between Nino and Ty, especially myself for a while there. It's just been really, really difficult to navigate. Plus, Chris with his baby and new job, it's been difficult. That's why I've had to revamp this channel with my schedule. And that's why I've been a lot more consistent because I had to literally put this on the calendar, schedule it, set it and forget it. So just SEC Connect. We were going live every Wednesday last year for a minute. But It's just tough. Seth is not in SEC Connect. That's why I didn't mention Seth. Y'all know I love my man Seth Olivares. Seth is not in SEC Connect. It's only Chris. Anyway, y'all know what it is. Hit the like button, subscribe the whole bit. Let me know what you guys want to talk about next Friday. Like I said, it's for the fans. If we want to rank Texas players, you want to rank other people's players, I think this was a fun exercise. We want to rank coaches. We could do that too. That might be interesting. Let me know what you want to do. But anyway, horns always up. Hook 'em.